the IP Day, Intellectual Property Day. And to celebrate this occasion, we are thrilled to have you join us for a week-long celebration of creativity, innovation, and IP, jointly organized by the Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell and AICTE. So for the first time ever, AICTE and Ministry of Education are hosting an extended one-week celebration for the IP, aligning with this year's WIPO theme, IP and music, feel the beat of music. So over the next couple of days, we'll be exploring the power of innovation, creativity, and IP in shaping a better future. So yesterday, we have witnessed an inspiring start to the IP week with the inaugural session led by our Honorable Chairman, Vice Chairman, and our distinguished leadership team. So today, I'm very delighted to kickstart the first day of our masterclass series. So before going on to the session, I request all the participants to kindly switch on your video, mute your microphone. And also, towards the end, just to start with, a few ground rules. Kindly use the chat box for any queries or any concerns in the chat box. And towards the end of each session, we'll be having a Q&A session for you to clear the doubts. Also, an e-assessment and a feedback link will be shared daily post the masterclass. And please ensure that for the participants, the certificates will be issued only to those who have completed the assessment. So now to start with, today's session will focus on Discover More with Design Registration. And here we are honored to welcome two distinguished experts, Professor B.K. Chakravarti and Professor Gauri Gage from IIT Kharagpur and IIT Bombay. So let me begin by warmly welcoming Professor B.K. Chakravarti, founding Dean of the School of Design Innovation at Mahindra University, currently online from Industrial Design Center, IIT Bombay, where he has spent over 2 decades shaping the future of design education. A true pioneer in design and innovation, he has led several impactful academic and hands-on initiatives, including the well-known Shenoy Innovation Studio. His innovations, such as the Nano Sniffer and the 5G Commando Tech, demonstrate his strong focus on translating research into socially relevant solutions. With over 26 owned patents, numerous industry and government collaborations, and wide-reaching online courses that have reached over 1.5 lakh learners all across India, his work continues to inspire a new generation of designers, innovators, and changemakers. Sir, it's really a great honor to have you with us today, and we are truly delighted to hear your insights on design-driven innovation.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yourself.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Shruti, and thank you so much to the Innovation Cell in the Ministry of Education. Are you all able to hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Shruti? Yeah, Shruti,
yes, sir. Yeah.
Let me just see whether I can share my screen first, and I have to share some audio also because I have a video also coming. So I need to check whether the audio also is working. So like, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Let me just check my video whether it's working. 1 second, please.
Okay.
I think I have to go to full screen to check whether it's working. Are you able to hear the sound?
The sound, I think
music was not there, no? So I think while sharing, do I need to do something else for WebEx? I'm not very comfortable with this.
So can you please retry it?
1 second. What I'll have to do is maybe I'll go to settings and use in the WebEx when you do sharing. Or is there anybody expert on WebEx on the group here? They can help us on how to get the PPT's presentation because I'm sharing a window.
So can you try to increase the volume of your?
Volume is full. It's playing on my speaker here. It's supposed to be coming to all of you. Let me just check. You're sharing videos or animations. Do you want to include your computer audio while you're sharing? Yes. Share computer audio. First start PPT and then share the window. Okay, I've of course started the PPT. Now I'll just see if it's working. Somebody has helped me there. 1 second. So now I'm also already on sharing. So let me see that you can be able to hear the audio.
Yes, now it's good.
You're able to see the audio?
Yes, sir. Now it's perfectly fine, sir. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you so much. So I'll start with the presentation now. And that's my first slide. And there we go. So it's so good. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I've been teaching for the last 3 decades, colleagues. So I'm one of you. Basically, started my career at Larsen and Toubro in design department after my graduation at IIT Bombay in the School of Design, and I of course worked in IIT Bombay back there for 25 years now, and just moved to Mahindra University 8 months back to start the School of Design Innovation as a paradigm shift, because we all see that there's so much interesting ideas, but the ideas, there's a tremendous effort we need to put these ideas to market and take it to entrepreneurship. So you'll see all those things happening. And what I've done is I put up a presentation for you where I'm going to show you all the case studies, how the case studies were built, as well as how we, need to patent and design register them. I'm going to show you some examples on that front also. So very, very fortunate to be at Mahindra University with a sprawling campus with wonderful buildings and very nice architecture. All design environment for a school is very, very critical. And for example, in the School of Design Innovation, we have this Mahindra University has all the schools. We have Ecole Central School of Engineering, School of Management, School of Law, School of Media and Communication, School of Hospitality. So getting all these things is very, very important for you to do a collaborative innovation. So we're going to, in our school, we're going to look at pushing technology boundaries, looking at well-being of people. We have to deliver solutions, and free day one the students are taught entrepreneurship. So foundation students also go through entrepreneurship courses. We have a wonderful entrepreneurship center over here. And we are offering 3 courses, which is BDes, MDes, and PhD, all in design innovation, and all focused on taking ideas to market from day one. In sense, if the students, for example, here, colleagues, you can see students designing glass water bottles in their first semester, and these glass water bottles are to be manufactured 5,000 units and given as gifts for Mahindra Group. So things like that. So when you start early into design, you can take it forward. That's the whole idea. So I coined the term innovation by design while I was at the School of Design, IIT Bombay. And we have to design the innovation process, and we have to use design for innovation. It's like the Mobius curve, and we take it forward. I'm very, very grateful to the Ministry of Education, where we have these 2 large projects. One is called the Design Innovation Center. So all the work you're seeing is thanks to these wonderful projects conceived by the Ministry of Education under the Nidhi project. So there's a studio in IIT Bombay where we built all the projects I'm going to show you. So it takes so much effort to build completely new design and development, and which is taking the things forward. So we will show you this. And then, of course, this is my research area, colleagues. Most important thing in, entrepreneurship and design innovation is collaboration, colleagues. If in the whole world of innovation, collaboration is the key, because one single person cannot have all the strengths. So this was my PhD topic, where we looked at a core team which has few number of people who are working day and night. We look at an enterprise-wide team which actually gives you 20-30% of their time, and the network team which gives only 5% of their time or 2% of the time. But that is the seed of innovation. You can really leapfrog into multiple domains. So all our projects, what I show you, have gone through these multi-teaming levels. I'll explain to you one by one. So here we have again wonderful project thanks to Open Design School, the National Initiative for Design Innovation of Ministry of Education, where we got in the Open Design School. And in this Open Design School, while we worked on projects, we documented all the projects, live projects, so that this documentation can become your learning method. So that is the technique behind. And then we came up with these, 7 online courses, have more than 1.8 lakh students registered, a lot of around 1,000 faculty colleagues, done the program. And of course, like I'll come now to our topic of the day, which is the, how do we capture the ideas and how do we convert them into our intellectual property. So that is the critical aspect, which is very, very important for us. Which is what we're going to work on and do. So I've started my airplane mode. Sorry about that. So here we are looking at those important critical domains, and let me quickly take you forward from here. So all my now nearly 4 decades of teaching experience have culminated in this very interesting Indian ethos of concerns for innovation. You have to be concerned for your user, you have to be concerned for your manufacturer, you have to be concerned for your seller, you have to be concerned, and those concerns result in innovation. And I'll take you through the my friends call me Chakku. So these are the Chakku's 7 concerns for design innovation. And each concern, I'll show you one product, and I'll show you the design registration for that and the story behind it. So that is the way I'm taking my whole presentation forward. And all these concerns and case studies are available in detail on my YouTube channel. They're available on my Coursera course. They're available on the Swayam courses. So please don't worry, no need to take notes. They're all available everywhere on the net. So here we now go to our next slide. So the first one is you stand for a cause, which is the first concern. That is you say that you take a resolve that you're going to solve a problem. So that problem was that the students had to go and identify the problem in the field. In blood banks, they found out that's very, very difficult to, prick and get the vein for some patients. So here we came up with this very simple device, which is the vein tracer. This device took us nearly 1.5 years to build. You see the form factor over here. This form is the 4th iteration of form, and that's the pilot production. It's very, very convenient to use. The form is shaped in such a way that's easy to hold and easy to use a syringe to draw the blood. So all those factors now are very critical. And now we need to take this to market, right? If you have to take this to market, I need to have a design registration, because patent is not possible, because it's just a simple technology, infrared technology, which highlights oxygenated blood. So from that point of view, I can't get a patent. So you could, but whole aspect over here is about the design registration. And we of course have this wonderful design registration where it is called just the vein detector. It is not even called user friendly, because as soon as I call it user friendly vein detector, it goes into patents. It is just called a simple vein detector. And this vein detector, what is the patent, which is the design registration, which is done, is just the shape, colleagues. And it's just very, very easy to do. I must tell you a small story over here. As part of the Indian knowledge systems, we were of the opinion that, oh, we'll keep on producing new products and we'll keep on putting them in the market, but we're not going to be, bothered about, patents. So when we started our project, we just kept on delivering, ideas and products and systems. And then, very interestingly, Ministry of Education came back and said, we're going to do ranking. And the ranking of the design innovation centers will happen as per the number of patents and design registrations. And then we were ranked out of the 20 design innovation centers set up in the country. I was ranked around 3rd from the bottom, because I had that time only a couple of design registrations. So that's where, when we seriously worked on this, it's very important to have a design registration. You can have a philosophy that you keep on building new products, but that is not enough. You need to be also recognized. You need to also safeguard the people who take your designs to market. So from that point of view, these design registrations are very important, and they're very, very simple to make. I'll show you in detail in the next slide how we make these very simple design registrations. So these things actually are critical for us, and we are just seeing how we are going to, take this forward. So now that was the first, design registration we did. So let me take you to the next one, which is our the context. A lot of people build very interesting ideas, but they're not contextually placed to the right environment where it's going to be used. So this becomes very critical. For this context, I took a very interesting, example of designing a uh, water bottle for CRPF jawans. Again, the problem came from the field where jawans actually have a lot of problem of drinking water when they're in the forest, and the drinking water bodies are poisoned sometimes, and they need a very very good source, and they also did stay in the forest. So here we built this wonderful project. Let me play the video for you. So, for example, this particular bottle was designed as participatory design using collaborative, innovation model, which I built around 8 teams of CRPF Jawans who partners in this. And the type of insights we got from them was phenomenal. And the context of where it's going to be used is the paramount. For example, this doesn't need to have a transparent, strip to see how much water is there, because water is precious for the CRPF jawans. So they will drink water as ration. So there's no need for how much water for them to check how much water, because they, by the weight itself, they would know, because that's dear to them. So these are those interesting insights which made the bottle very robust, which made the bottle very user friendly, and of course the filter is integrated in the bottle itself. And we again got a design registration for that, and like we could have got a patent also for this, depending upon how we place the filter, but that was not too much of novelty because filter is just placed in the bottom. So these are these interesting things which happen. So here also we got the shape registered, because the type of bottle had the special bean shape, and it was very easy to hold while you crank. So the form was having its meaning, the form was having its ease of use, the form was having the filter integrated in the bottom cap. So all those form factors became critical for us in the registration. So now let me come back to my third, concern, which is the comprehension. Generally, when you actually do a lot of survey, and when you talk to users, customers, and people, you get a lot of insights. You need to convert those insights into features in your ideas, or build itself upon the insight. So that becomes a very very critical thing in the design phase. And here, for example, we have we had this problem of why don't people use solar ovens. There's so much heat. Currently I'm in Hyderabad. Oh, I'm like enjoying the Hyderabad heat because my cooking happens much faster. See how the heat is no longer troubling me, because it's cooking my food much faster. So these are type of things which happen. So when we went to Bombay to survey, they all said that it's so inconvenient to go outdoors and cook. So we built this wonderful solar oven, again a student project to pilot production, and now getting into a startup where you actually mount the uh, oven in the window, the sun side of the window of the house, and use it from inside the house as a microwave. So you have the convenience of a microwave, and you have the mounting as the air conditioner, window air conditioner. And we use very very high technology here, from chemical engineering to the thermodynamics to material science coatings to material dimensions. So it's very interesting that this greenhouse solar oven is very very convenient to use, and it's also very viable. So I'm going to show you in detail how the patent worked over here. Let me quickly show you a small film to see how we took it to market. The Design Innovation Center
at IIT Bombay supports the best design minds in the country to conceptualize, prototype, test, and ultimately produce innovative products which will enrich our lives. Our student Avinash found out that the conventional box-type solar cooker is very inconvenient to use. He came up with this new design of window-mounted oven where one can operate the oven from indoors. We receive ample sunlight in our country, and the solar oven takes us a step closer towards a sustainable lifestyle. This versatile solar cooker with zero maintenance can easily recover its cost in a span of 3 to 4 years. The multiple advantages of our solar oven are that it cooks for free, it cooks nutritious food, and the food is tastier.
As an athlete, I always have to perform at my peak. The key is to be dedicated to the idea of fitness. That also means I need to watch what I feed my body.
एलपीजी की सब्सिडी काफ़ी कम लोगों को दिया जाती है, इसी वजह से खाना बनाना काफ़ी महंगा हो रहा है। आजकल मैं सारा खाना सोलर ओवन पे ही बना लेती हूँ, तड़का बिड़का गैस पर लगा लेती हूँ।
The solar cooker uses renewable energy of the sun and therefore conserves fossil fuels. We have cooked rice, we have cooked millets, various kinds of curries, vegetables, khichdi and things like that.
Because of the lower temperature, the nutrients in a food are more stable compared to other methods of cooking.
The cooking is done in the juices of the food itself, and all this contributes to better retention of fragrance and a tastier product at the end.
Fabulous.
The solar oven has gone through many stages of evolution, from a design idea to pilot production. We did multiple tests to improve the efficiency of the solar oven. Thanks to the collaborative efforts of our Design Innovation Center team and the professors at IIT Bombay, we are at the verge of delivering this amazing product from our drawing boards to your homes.
So we are, thank you so much for the appreciation. So this basically the design happened collaboratively. That's Professor Kedar, who is currently the director of IIT Bombay. He was our advisor on understanding the thermal aspects, the calculations and all. And what is surprising is the solar oven, that was the first model, which was a round model, which was done by student Avinash. Avinash also joined back with us to work on the project. So it was the best thing to do. And we built the whole product, and we found out that the convection was 65% and conduction through the plate, which was there in the solar oven, was only 40%. So we really shrunk the volume of the oven so that the air can get hot faster. So let me show you the another interesting insight I want to show you about entrepreneurship, because all intellectual property knows about entrepreneurship and market. We were in Surat and we were saying, oh, we have this micro solar oven which can, cook anything from cakes to, it can do rice, it can do dal, it can do sweets, it can do khichdi. Then this business guy said, if you don't have a focus on what your product can do, you cannot sell in the market. You just call it a rice cooker and I'll order 100 of them right away. So then we called it Sunrise, and that is what you see in the picture with Avinash. So it's very interesting to be focused in your design. Of course, when they bite for rice, they can do whatever other things you want, but you have to be very, very focused, like the cause, that what you're solving. And let me now quickly explain to you the design registration part. In the design registration, you just have to give 7 views. These 7 views are sent. They have to be neutral without any graphics. So the front view, the back view, the left view, the right side view. Look at this box. This box is the box which is needed for you to fit into the window. So this is part of my oven accessory. If I don't add it in my thing, then I won't be able to do a separate design registration for that. So the box which is fitting my oven and this box goes and fits into the window is what is the total design endeavor. And we need the top view, the bottom view, and the perspective view and the other perspective. With these views, we got the design registration done, and it is just designed registered as design or window mounted solar oven. So here, luckily, they were asking us to just call it solar oven and the window mounted. It's very interesting when you have a function in the form. they don't accept in design. We're very lucky that they accepted this, this name. They would just call it a solar oven because window mounting is a function and that will have to go to a patent. You got it. So those are the interesting situations. But luckily, the attorney agreed in this case. We had a couple of extra meetings, and then we said that the whole form itself is built around being on the on the window. So then he agreed that because we had the bracket also, they finally agreed. Otherwise, they wouldn't have agreed for this. Now, this particular design also is patentable. So what would you do for patent? Of course, for the patent, you have this wonderful, greenhouse effect. There are two polycarbonate shells. It's a double-walled, transparent shell, and that shell has got a rounded shape, so the sunlight can come from all sides, and it has an optimized cooking tray for high heat temperature. This is a tray. In fact, colleagues, I must tell you, the success came because of the tray in the oven. The greenhouse effect improves inside, but if you don't have a tray which can take all the heat, so 40% conduction, I was telling you, 35% conduction, that conduction tray was very important. And the coatings for the tray comes from Nagpur, professor who works in the in the cook stove area, and so that coating improves the efficiency by another 15%, the black coating. So this optimized cook tray is very, very critical for the heat transfer in all seasons. And of course, we have to make the clear drawings, show all the specifications to get the patent for this. And the air gap dimensions also important. And when we did the prior art, we had a lot of projects which are window mounted. Like there were these glass boxes which people mounted on window, and they said, we've also done it. But luckily, because it was not just a glass box, it was there was a involvement of how the gap was giving you the greenhouse, how the polycarbonate was giving you the right transparency and the right enhanced insulation was all considered. And and of course the optimized tray. You see the flanges of the cook tray, colleagues. These flanges were black flanges which actually would absorb the heat from the side also. So you're going to maximize the heat absorption over there. And of course, we're very happy that we got this patent. It's called the window mounted solar appliance. And colleagues, I'm very, very happy to inform you that we also got the international patent in 4 countries. We saw where all the sun goes. So in the US and South Africa, in Australia, we took a patent in all those areas. That's another very long process. That had been very tedious. Till the patent itself, it takes a lot of effort. I would like to advise all of you to really, have, special project associates who work on this, because it's a full-time job to, take a couple of projects to patent forward. And of course, if it's international, you should have the money also through projects as well as the, thing to take it forward. So now, that brings me to my, 4th C, which is the check. Again, colleagues, a very, very interesting thing. When you say check, you have come up with some insights. So you have a checklist with you. When you make ideas, products, and systems, you have to go back to see whether you are really satisfying all those aspects. That's why we call this the check. But actually, it is, creating a product brief. So I got this very, very challenging, wicked problem of creating a palki for Vaishno Devi Yatra. So there are these 4 porters who carry, pilgrims on the hill. Let me quickly show you the video so you get a good idea.
श्री माता वैष्णो देवी श्राइन में पहुंचने के लिए बहुत से साधनों का प्रयोग होता है, और उन साधनों में पालकी एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण साधन है, और जिसका उपयोग जो है हमारे जो अशक्त और वृद्ध लोग हैं वो करते हैं। लेकिन इस पालकी को कैरी करने वाले पोर्टर्स की बहुत सी परेशानियां हैं, क्योंकि उसका पालकी का वज़न काफ़ी होता है, और 13 किलोमीटर के इस ट्रैक पे उसको ले करके जाना एक काफ़ी पेनफुल मैं कहूँगा कि काम है, जिसको इम्प्रूव करने की ज़रूरत समझी गई।
Our role in this project was to do a very good user study, understand the needs of the porters very, very closely, and come up with designs which will help them to reduce the drudgery.
This is the prototype we built in our own product development cell in IIT Bombay. We got a very expert welder because when you build prototypes and you go to field, you would have very good welders.
While IDC put up a design, we came up with ergonomic studies, their biomechanics system, where the load is coming. We found the shoulder and back were two areas where the lower back was two areas where a load was very heavy, and we looked at how we can reduce that load by doing proper design.
The final design was lightweight and robust. We could reduce the weight to 34 kilos from around 50 to 54 kilos, and this made a large impact on the comfort of the porters. At the same time, we were very focused on the structural analysis of the palki, and we conducted the analysis that we managed to maintain very good structural stability and structural integrity in the design so that the palki can last long and it can be very safe.
Today I am very happy as these integrative efforts are being concluded, and final solution is emerged is lightweight, ergonomically designed, safety aspects are there, all the designs are structurally validated.
Another, a very collaborative project, and I'm so happy to mention that I had to bring the porters from Vaishno Devi, and they stayed with me in the hostel. We paid them their salary so that they don't lose their daily wages. And for example, it was a complete participatory work because they're so used to these palki that any of these designs we were doing, we were failing. We had actually failed on 8 palkis before this, and this is the final success. And again, like we always say, that there's always blessing from the Mata Vaishno Devi. Jindal sponsored 100 palkis, and 100 palkis are now flying, and there's not even one failure. Over the last 4 years, earlier every 2 weeks one palki would break. So that's the beauty of how you could use structural analysis by my Professor Desai from IIT Bombay, using ergonomics from Niti Rai, Karuna Jain, and Rauf Iqbal from their team. And of course, I had a team of another 4 or 5 project staff and associates working together to build this product. And it's very interesting that nobody is concerned about this product other than the principal scientific advisor, Chidambaram. So he said that we need to do something for the porters, because we keep rules saying that they can't charge extra money, but we also have to give them facilities. So and this has been my childhood dream, that I should do something for the porters, and I'm so happy that we could do it. And we also have and of course you see these 400 palkis, 400 porters. Very, very happy. We had to do it. There were some 400 porters, so we had to draw lottery to give the porters the palkis. And of course, you can see this, palki being used. Anytime you visit the place, you'll be able to see the palki moving. And we have a design registration for the palki, and we actually dedicated the all the intellectual property to the shrine board, saying that we will not need any royalty for such a project which is for national good and national cause. But see, colleagues, design registration is important. The design has to be identified between NITI, IIT Bombay, and my professor from structural engineering. So all our names are there, and IIT Bombay's name is there, and NITI's name is there. So that registration is an important contribution to the nation, because it adds up to the design registrations and patents. So we have to make up, our understanding. In fact, I was also very naive earlier with all these things. We have to really go forward in our index on how many design registrations we can come up with and improve our, rating in the country. So this is an interesting case where building ideas is very important. So like in all the projects, all the 6, 7 C's are there. But I'm just showing one project to highlight that aspect was very critical here. So one of my students' friend died in a motorcycle accident, and his helmet was strapped behind because his helmet was full face helmet, difficult to wear. He didn't even wear the helmet, and he had head on with a truck and he died. So this same student, I made him work on a helmet, saying that come, let us make a helmet which is easy to use, you can grab and wear, and it's easy to store. So that's the project over here. Easy to wear helmet. The student is currently the head of the design program. It's BIT School of Design in Mumbai, Mandar. Kale. So wonderful ideas we made, from folding to opening to ventilation helmets, and finally we came up with the 3D printed mock-ups and prototypes, and finally we have the the prototype of the helmet, looking for manufacturers to take it to market. So the whole and then very interesting elastic to hold, so that people found it very difficult to even buckle. So we have just a very simple skin friendly elastic which is used in undergarments, so that you can also wear that very easily. So that, and this also got a design registration and patent. Now comes to the sixth C, which is crafting. I'll again show you in detail, colleagues. This is again a very challenging challenging project, because once you make ideas, you also build models and build designs. So in this case, we built a letterbox for the country. We failed 100 the letterboxes we made in stainless steel, and we put it all over the country, and we realized that people are not able to recognize it. And then we designed the newer one, where the PM also appreciated the box, and now it's in the production and used by India Post going forward. So this, very interestingly, we have a design registration again. The shape, see, what is the novelty here is the shape. So we have the front view, the back view. This is the only submission we need to do. No graphics. You can't put any graphics. You just have to get the views right, and all the views, and then you have the design of the letterbox. Design registration, and so my last C, running out of time, is the connection, colleagues. So in the connection, what happens is you design a product. Remember my letterbox, when it went to the users, my connection failed. So I had to, connecting with the user failed. So I went back and designed and redesigned to come back. So for the connection, I'm going to show you my 3 decades of work in petrol pump design. I was in Larsen Tubro after graduating from IIT Bombay. So that was my first design, which is called the Z-Line petrol pump. Some of you would remember this petrol pump, which dotted across the country, and L&T did huge amount of business. And all these case studies in details are available on my YouTube channel called Innovation by Design, Professor B.K. Chakravarti. You could just Google and get the YouTube link to all my playlists. Please, have a look, and please use them extensively to showcase how design can go forward. I want to again credit my professors from my School of Design, my teachers, Professor A.G. Rao, Professor Atwankar, Professor Munshi, Professor Bapat, Professor Kiti Trivedi, Professor Ravi Puvaya. They were instrumental. Professor Gigi Ray in ergonomics, instrumental in giving us the foundation in design, and and I want to capture all their learnings into these live projects, so that we can take these direction of creativity, building new products forward. This petrol pump, colleagues, just because I built this petrol pump Larsen Tubro, we kept American Gilbarco, which was 10 times more expensive than our pump, out of the market continuously. The story didn't end there. It's very interesting that now we have the competitor came to me as I joined IIT Delhi as a professor in 2000, in 94. He said, the product is now our product is obsolete. Now nobody's buying our product. And because, colleagues, we design registered this shape, because of the shape, the tenders were saying Z-Line petrol pump, and no other company was able to produce. So this is a very, very interesting case study of design registrations, where if the tender gives your design registration as their spec, how can anybody else supply any other products? So with single tenders and all the pumps are supplied by L&T, and L&T made huge amount of money. Then we came back to our like company called Midco, and this was my PhD topic. We designed the petrol pump as a student project to market. And colleagues, new technology, new materials, new situations. This pump completely wiped out this headline pump. A small company, we call it serial innovation, can completely wipe out a large company if the product is not taken forward. Similarly, we do another project for Oval, and we did Showfill, and these are Showfill are still dotting all over the country and kept all foreign companies out of our country for 30 years. Look at the revenue which we could create and take things forward. So that's it, colleagues. This is my last slide where I'm showing the connection. We have a little time for, question and answers. And can I stop sharing, Shruti?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for drawing us through this powerful intersection of design-driven innovation and focused entrepreneurship. So your insights it was truly inspiring. And I am pretty sure that we'll be having many queries from participants too. So I think we will now open our floor for questions.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you so much.
So participants, kindly unmute yourself, or if you have any query, just post it in the chat box so that
Anand, you have anything? Anand is from ACT, yeah.
any
colleagues, any of the questions on the, we have a lot of patents and design registrations now. We became the highest, that year in IIT. Can you believe it? From the design school, we had 27 design registrations and, 4 patents. And, when you get into the activity, you can really do well. Shyam, you want to ask something? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shyam, sir, please go ahead.
You have to unmute, Shyam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Shyam,
now
sir.
you're okay. Go ahead.
Sir, it was very highly inspiring, sir. Thank you so much for taking through all the case studies, and we are really looking forward for more such sessions, sir. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to, share our gratitude.
Welcome.
I also request all the audience through the YouTube to pose the queries if you have any queries regarding the design-driven innovation.
And colleagues, I will also encourage you to look at my look at the YouTube channel. It's got all the details. So I will share the link with all of you.
So I think one
yeah,
Dr. Manoj has raised a
yeah, please Manoj, go ahead.
Hello.
Tell me, Manoj.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Your presentation was very good.
Thank you.
Quite knowledgeable. I'm looking over the IPR in MJP Rolkar University, Bareilly. So we have also filed around more than 150 patents and design registrations so far in this year. So actually, I wanted to know that actually we were working hard to get the registration and do the things, but the way that you have provided us a path, how the things can be when we do the this real time situation, the things are different. Whereas we generally go for a registration for a design which may not be useful at all sometimes, and most of our design are that in that perspective. A chunk of design are only on those which are not so useful as such. So how can we motivate the students and extract the work from the student in order to get the registration and design and this patent also?
So very good question, Manoj. So what happens is generally when I teach a course on patent and design registration, I take up all the earlier students' projects and we actually design register them and design patent them. So through the patenting process, they learn and we give them 1% share in the intellectual property because it's business, right? So out of the 30 in my class, 2 of them got technology transfers. So so out of 32 people got money for their work. So we have to make it very live. We have to make it very entrepreneurial, and we have to say that there'll be some market somewhere for the technology. So what happens is we may not identify that as good, available, but the motivation, from point of view of market could be there. So, we need to convince from that point of view that you have worked out for a user because the projects are always user centered. So there will always be a need. So for someone somewhere across the world. In fact, earlier there was a company in Ahmedabad which was designing, 3D models of patents so that they can be saleable. So patents also have to go to the next level so that somebody can see the product for it to, go to market. So that's also one very important journey today. Thanks to CAD, thanks to AI, your patents all can, be now embodied and you can see a product out of it and you can do much more selling. So you have to have a selling department also. We have a selling department in IIT Bombay, through our Dean R&D's office. So they actually promote through industries all the patents available. And sometimes we sell patents at as low as 50,000 rupees.
Okay, sir.
Technology transfer at 50,000 to small SMSC. MSMEs can't pay more than 50 to 25,000. Why should we ask more? Otherwise, my patent is lying unused.
Right, sir, right.
So we have to be really, really considerate with the industry. The challenge is sometimes we are not considerate with the industry and we are very selfish. That is the whole problem. And you don't give exclusive right, you give non-exclusive rights to the small companies so that they can take because there's so much work to take any design patent forward. It's not easy. Your patent is only 5% of the total work. So these are the motivations we need to give colleagues and students so that they can take things forward.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
So we have one question from the chat box. Dr. Shali is asking, what is the duration of registration of design, and how can it be extended?
I don't have the right, Shruti. Maybe my next colleague will be able to tell that answer, no?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Design, I think the patents are for 10 years for international, but design registrations, I'm not very sure how many years that is. Somehow it's missing my memory. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So, and we have one more question from Anand. How different is commercializing a registered design from a patent commercialization?
In fact, both of them are same. There's hardly any difference. For example, for example, when you can't get a patent for your design, you do a design registration, so you at least get the shape registered so nobody else can copy your design. So both of them are very useful, but the design registration is much more easier than the patent registration. So you do that first, get your things out of the out of the thing, and then of course some of the key things within your design you could do patents. You could have 4 patents in your design sometimes. So that is the level of patenting which can happen. Did I answer, Anand, your question?
Yes. So, and regarding the design registration, I think Indu ma'am has replied that it is 10 years,
10 years,
lifetime.
no?
Yeah, and it can be extended for 5 years.
5 years by paying extra payment. Yeah, even for international patents, it's 10 years.
Yes, yes. So, and we have few more questions from the YouTube channel. So one question is, what was so special about the post box that makes it different from the conventional post box?
Very interesting question. The postbox is actually, has got multiple factors, and I've just shared my YouTube link. Well, you just do innovation by design, BK Chakravarti. You'll see the whole story. But just to tell you, the very basic part is that postbox is rectangular because today most of the manufacturing machines are press brakes and all. So it is manufacturing centered, not to make it easy to produce. It has got very good cover, so it is completely leak proof, so it can easy. It's got a very wide opening, so you can put larger envelopes inside, which is today's requirement. So like, it is user friendly, it is friendly for manufacturing, it is friendly for installation, it is friendly for transportation. It all goes one into the other, so it becomes a small box and you can go for transportation. So there is a value for every system in the post box design. It is good for advertising, so my post department can get revenue, 2,000 rupees a year for advertising on the side of the post box. So it's got place for revenue for posting, and and it is modern design, so it stands there modern and new rather than your old design. So you're also looking at how things can go forward. So with all these new things, the post box is using new materials, it is using better manufacturing, and of course it's very easy to take things forward. So like, that is the whole thing. My whole case study is there, you must look at it, and also will teach you how the design is taken forward.
Thank you, sir.
And in the Coursera course, which I posted over there, I have the flip book also is free. All the Coursera course is free. You just have to order it, and you have the flip book, which has the total journey, all the 7 flip books. We have made 7 books out of the 7 concerns of innovation. All the 7 books are reading material and available for free in the Coursera site, and all the case studies are given in detail in the case studies which are there. So please, save from the chat box. How is it possible to share with the YouTube channel, Shruti? How will they know which YouTube go? So they have to just type innovation by design. Maybe YouTube students and colleagues, you can actually just say innovation by design and my full name, B.K. Chakravarti. See, my name is coming up. So the B.K. Chakravarti you put, then you will go to my playlist, and in that you have a playlist called Innovation by Design, and all the videos are available there also, and many more for you to understand design innovation in a better way.
So Dr. Shalini is asking where we can access the book. For this.
The books are available online. So we just launched the books online. They just we kept it very low at 550 rupees. Maybe the publisher will give you a discount of 100. So it is TV Enterprises is going to sell on Amazon. You will get it in Amazon in a couple of days. We will make it available. Each of the book is just 550 rupees online, and there is a like LinkedIn, the Kindle version also available. That's it's not right now there, but we'll put there also as soon as possible.
Yes, sir. So we have many questions from YouTube, but due to lack of time, I think I request all the participants to kindly post this message through the chat box or email. We'll be answering all your questions for sure. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights.
Welcome.
So now we have another distinguished expert, Professor Gauri Gagit from IIT Kharagpur. So we are honored to have you, ma'am. She is having overall of 25 years of experience in academia, research, and industry. She is a gold medalist in both LLM IPR and MSc Industrial Microbiology. She is a registered patent agent and a TIFAC scholar. She has been at the forefront of innovation in IP management, tech transfer, patent policy, and strategy. She has led several national and international projects, published extensively, and delivered talks all around the world. So currently, she leads key research and consultancy initiatives with Ministry of Education, DST, and industry partners. Ma'am, we are honored to have you with us and look forward to your insights. Over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, yeah, now you're audible.
Thank you so much, and I'm very thankful to Ministry of Education Innovation Cell for this opportunity to interact with the participant here and to share my views on Discover More with design registration. Thanks to Dr. Ilangoan, thanks to Ms. Shruti, thanks to Ms. Damini, for this wonderful opportunity. Now, when we are talking about design, I'm very thankful to Professor Chakravarti for setting the stage, and IIT Bombay is my alma mater, so he has taken me to IIT Bombay during his talk, and so nice to hear about so many case studies. And I'm very well aware about that. Yes, our IRCC was doing very well, and I was there at that time also, about the design registrations and the patent. So here in this session, how we will go, like this is a broad outline, and we have, I guess, 30 minutes. So I will try to cover the things in that 30 minutes. So we will check about the India status, how exactly design registration is look into by that Indian citizens as well as foreign citizens. Considering India as a market, then we will see key features of Design Act, and already Sir has shared with us so many case studies. So we can easily relate that key features easily. So that legal point of view, how exactly the examiner look into while examining the application, that will be much very, we can say, easier with the case studies, whatever Sir has shared with us. I will share one case study, so that we can just go into a little deeper about the commercialization aspect of industrial design, considering that industrial design, and then some few examples and obviously some questions to ponder when we are looking into the intellectual property. Now we are focusing on design, and we will check whether only design will help us to get wealth out of the investment, whatever we are doing. And this investment is not only we are talking about it's an intellectual property. So I'm talking about that intellectual investment, whatever we are doing, along with obviously the involvement of a monetary aspect during that project development, or when that product goes from that initial stage into the lab to the market. When we are talking about intellectual property, there are 8 types of IPs, and I will not go into details of any other IP because we have to just focus on industrial design. And a little bit aspect of patent, we will just look into whenever it is required, because whenever we are talking about industrial design, for what we are doing the industrial design, whenever engineer develops a product, we want that product to be marketed. And for marketing, I guess the look, the feel, how exactly you feel with that particular product when you see with your naked eyes, that is more appealing. And that aesthetic look, which is appreciated by naked eyes, is the subject matter for industrial design. So product design and industrial design are 2 different aspects. Product design, I will say that it is a more work of engineer or a technologist or a scientist, depending on that product and in which domain it is. And the industrial design is an aspect of designers, and they will look into the customer approach, how exactly customer will feel, how customer can be attracted and towards that particular product. And I can give you a classic example that whenever we go into the mall, this is the situation that many times we go with a list maybe of 10 products we have to buy, and we end up with buying some 20 products, maybe 15 products. Okay, why this happens? Because effective shelf management and this industrial design makes you tempted to buy that particular product, although it is not required. And how they are doing it? Whenever you are going towards a billing counter, what happens? You see the very different products with a lot of offers and very good designs. And many times because of that designs, because of that particular attractive nature, that aesthetic feel which attracts you, and you buy that product, maybe you may not be required that product. And whenever you come back to home, then you realize that, oh, I may not have required that product, but I have bought that product. So what is that exactly? That nice shape of a bottle, nice shape of a soap, nice jewelry design, nice packaging, all these things are attracting you. And then they have that industrial design will look into gender, look into the age, look into that ergonomics factors, and all these particular factors Sir has just shared with us, how exactly they have looked into all and created that product. So functionality is aspect of a product design, design, and engineers are taking care of that. And in point of view of intellectual property, patent will take care of that. And design aspect is a job of designers, and they will look into how exactly that product will look when it will go into the market. Okay, now I'll just put few names and then you just think about what exactly comes in front of you. If I say Maruti, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Hyundai, Toyota, maybe that car is going in front of you and you have that specific like impression considering design about that particular car. That's that particular color, that particular feel, and that is one of the important, I can say, specification when we are deciding to buy that particular car. Anyway, car is doing the task, the function is like mobility, travel, but why we choose a particular car and why all cars are not same? Because every person have a different taste, and based on that different different liking, the person is going to like buy that particular product from the market. You go into the shop, you have to buy the fan, and fan, the function is okay. It is giving you that cooling effect, and every fan will do that. But you have a specific like expectation and you buy a specific particular fan from a specific company. Why this happen? Because many times that experience, that aesthetic look is like you think about how exactly it will look into your living room, how exactly you will, that color combinations, all these aspects you are taking into consideration. Now, statutory, if you see, there is a very good arrangement that these are the different acts you can just check out. That in that you can just check. Considering India, Designs Act 2000 is dedicated for this particular protection of designs, and design protection is for 10 years and renewable for next 5 years. So once we buy or once you have that registered design, total life of the design is 15. We have to understand that most of the intellectual properties, I'm saying most of the intellectual properties out of this 8, because some like few exceptions are there which are perpetual in nature. Obviously you have to do the renewal. So design, when we are talking about total life of design, once we register in India, it is a 15 years. At first, whenever you are registering it, it is for 10 years. Obviously, you have to go for renewal procedure. If you miss that, your design will come into the public domain. So renewal is mandatory if you want next 5 years registration where that life actually, right? Now, this trademark or patent, they have a different life, but I can just give you idea. Patent will give, patent is like granted when you are giving doing the application, life is 20 years. And trademark is one example, which is a perpetual in nature. So you can just see Philips, Siemens, more than 100 years, this particular, we can say, trademark is there. Why? They are doing that renewal every 10th year. That renewal is mandatory. If we miss that renewal, your trademark will go into the public domain. Now, next is like I'm showing you one map, and here it shows mithai, which is a particular to different states of India. We will come back to this in the last, and I want to know that from you whether design registration is possible with this particular aspect, that is a mithai. Now, when we are talking about a design, can it become an asset? I'm just sharing with you an example. It is a little old data, but that time also, you can just check out that 95% or 92% or 88% of intangible, that if you see the market capitalization, intangible assets are taking. Means if you take an organization, intangible assets and tangible assets are 2 assets. previously, before 1980, tangible assets were very important, that infrastructure and then the facilities which are there, the manufacturing unit, all this like tangible property was having importance. But after 1980, shift is there, and intangible assets like this patent, trademark, copyright, industrial design, trade secret, protection of plant varieties, farmers' right, geographical indication, semiconductor integrated circuit layout design, all this, along with goodwills, obviously, all these are taking a chunk, and this is like a 95% of company asset or organization assets that are intangible assets. So we have to appreciate that shift, and we definitely have to focus and work on intangible assets so that we can create wealth out of them. Now, when we talk about industrial design, obviously different kind of packages. Packaging is important. I have just given you example of a mall where wherever you are going, we just get attracted towards that nice packaging, nice color combination, and we buy products. Then this is one example I have shared about that bicycle, and that specific specially abled people can use this, and so nicely it is particularly designed. So it serves the purpose, but obviously it is giving you the pleasure of having that particular bicycle. You are owning it, and obviously your task or your function for which you are buying that is done. And industrial design will give you that particular, we can say, the aesthetic aspect, and you are like happy to own that particular. Here are the different kind of, if you see the fashion industry, obviously it is dominated by industrial design. And even obviously all the market, wherever the market, the products are there, design is playing a very, I can say, indispensable role, because that is one thing helps you, or that is one thing, considering the seller, that helps seller to attract the customer. And obviously consumers or customers are attractive because they have a specific taste for that. Now, this, why design protection? Obviously, it is an exclusive right. Now, if you do not do the protection for industrial design, the chances are that competitors will like take that product into market. I would like to share a case here. I can take name of the company actually, Crompton Threads. Crompton Threads, if you see, Crompton Threads is a company which is in India. Every time, like CGPDTM office, our patent office, Patent Industrial Design Trademark Registry, this office gives awards to the successful design creators. And Crompton Threads is a continuous, for many years, Crompton Threads was a leader, and they used to get that prize for their industrial design. Their main industrial design team is in Mumbai, and they are working on their products. So their motor pumps, their fans, all that electric appliances, design team there is working, and they are like giving the products into that as required, as per requirement of the consumer. Now, the example I want to share is like that they have designed one fan, and for that fan, they forgot or they have neglected the importance of industrial design, and they have not done the design registration for that particular fan. What happened? Whenever they have launched that product into the market, immediately, obviously, as there was no protection, their competitors, they have copied that particular design. And obviously, what is the effect of that? The fourth point, reduction in market share for the product. Without registration, as the registration was not done, everybody copied that. And obviously what happened, that 100% share, that exclusive share, probably they would have, if they have done the registration, they have lost that. And all competitors and other local vendors, they came up with that particular design for their fan as a product, and they lose that particular market share. So that is the person, the inventor shared that was a big loss for Crompton and Threads, considering that particular. So your decision making before bringing that product into the market, IP management plays a very, very important. Sir has already that shared with us that the two important IPs they have as a IIT Bombay, they have taken into consideration as a patent and design. But I would like to mention that along with that, for example, bottle he had shared, or for example, sunrise, he has coined that term. So probably trademark registration would also help to have a like holistic, we can say, that IP management. So trademark, patent, industrial design, and then the obviously trade secret is always there. And then copyright comes, but that we will not go into the details of that now. That is also playing the important role when about the IP management and any product whenever we take, all this IP come into the picture. What happens if you don't do the design registration? Obviously, you don't have any legal means, just Crompton Greaves case you can take. They don't have option, but everybody copied that. They have to, you don't have option as competitors are more, so you cannot have that upper hand to, and you have to sell your product in a lower price actually, right? So it is harmful to both actually, firm's reputation also and a product also. Your return on investment will be obviously with these IPs, and we are talking about a design. When we do that, obviously it is a very good tool, very good IP when we are talking about the marketing to attract the consumer. So return of investment can be increased along with functional aspect, aesthetic aspect. You are merging, and that will give an advantage. So 10 years at least, if you will not renew it, but if you renew it, next 5 years, so total 15 years is the life of that design. Okay, and obviously it is a help in the brand building, because you just check out that when you talk about brand is a function of market. Actually, I will keep legal aspect and marketing aspect separately. Marketing is like brand is coming under marketing management, and a legal aspect is like industrial design. So when we are talking about that brand building, we can say that design as a legal, we can say the aspect. When you do that, if somebody copies that, you have a statutory provision and you can take action on it. You can license it, you can sell it now. Sir has shared that, okay, we have taken a patent in 4 countries. Probably there is a possibility that they can go for a design registration or design patent, because in India we say industrial design, but in US there is a design patent concept is there. So if you take that particular protection in different countries, you can license, you can hand over that franchisee, you can give that franchisee for your product, and they can take care of that. How you can do that effectively? Because you have IP in hand and you have protected it. Without that, probably you cannot do this particular activity of selling or licensing. And therefore, it is very important to have a legal right over that particular product. And therefore, registering IP, maximum IP means you can have patent, we can have an industrial design, we can have a trademark, and then we can have a bundle of rights. And that bundle of rights, you can have that negotiation while you are selling or licensing that particular thing. You will have a positive image when you have that portfolio, because with that one product, you have a portfolio building, just like a wealth portfolio, you are building an IP portfolio, and that IP portfolio definitely helps you in the negotiation, and it is a reward for the creativity, the efforts, because design, when you are doing it, is many times it is like a lot of version comes, and maybe 10th version, 12th version, you are successful, and then that product comes into the market. So a lot of efforts goes into that, and design, that protection is a reward for the creativity. Now, what is the status of India considering the registration of this? You can just see that if we consider the data, in 2019, 76,000 industrial designs were there. And now if you see in 2024 data shows that there is like 1,41,000 designs are in force at present in India. And you can just see the filed, the designs, and then the registered designs. And in 2023-24, we can see that 30,000 designs are registered filed, and 30,000 plus, like 30,670 designs are registered. Considering the origin, if you say, India and foreign, because that due to the TRIPS agreement, obviously, and we are a Paris Convention that member, Paris Convention member we are. So obviously, the other country residents can register design in India, and they will have a national treatment as if they are nationals of India. And you can see that if I focus on 2023-24 data, India registration, that Indian resident have registered 26,000 patent, 26,000 plus industrial designs, and foreign like 3,000 plus registrations are there. If we see the registrations like that state-wise, we can say Maharashtra is in a top position, and then Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Gujarat, and very surprisingly, you can see that obviously Jammu and Kashmir is also there in design registration in that top 20 in 2023-24. Moving further, if you see this India map, you can just check again that the number that each state-wise and union territory-wise registration, and we can say that yes, awareness is there, and state-wise we can say there is a registration, industrial design registration is there. If we see country-wise, you can just see that USA is a topmost considering registration in India, because they want to use obviously market in India. So USA is in a top, then Germany, China, Japan, Korea, you can just see the list. They are like companies which are there or individuals they are there, they are registering their designs in India, and USA is in the top. If we see the top, we can say the applicants considering 2023-24 data. Sabyasachi Kolkata alone in 1 year filed 1,067 industrial design registration, and then the list is there, you can just check that. Then if you see foreign filers, then you can just check that Samsung, Philips, Skechers, right? They are now, you can just see Porsche is there, and then they are registering their designs in India. When we see the filed exam registered or disposed number, as we have just seen, 30,000 plus industrial designs are registered, and 29,000 plus like examined, and 30,000 plus is registered designs. Disposal is there because sometimes it is abandoned, sometimes it is not, like a FER is issued, but applicant have not responded to that, and at that case, that applications were disposed. Now, if you see, there is a Locarno classification. If you see any of the RP, some classification we are following always. For example, for trademark, we are following this or nice, whatever pronunciation you want to do, that classification we follow. If we see this patent, we have international patent classification. So similarly, when we see industrial design, we follow Locarno classification. Now, why this slide is important, that we can just check that class 2, class 12, class 24, class 15 and class 11 are the top classes where Indian applicants are filing the registration. So it gives us idea that, okay, which class is like focused by most of the creators, and how definitely if these are the classes, we can say that yes, market is ready for such kind of products, and we can think about the development of products or having such kind of products into the market with the industrial design registration. And you can just see for this class 2 is for clothing, or class 12 is for transportation, class 24 is medical and lab equipment. So we can have that details here. Now, if you see for the foreign applicants, we have seen 3,000 plus applications are there by foreign filers, so or foreign residents. So where they are focusing on? They are focusing on class 24, medical lab equipments, right? Then there is a class 12, transportation. Class 14 is there for recording, communication or information retrieval equipments is there. There is a 23, which is related to the sanitary, that equipments, distribution equipment, sanitary, heating, ventilation, or you can just check that class 9, which is related to containers for the transport or handling the goods is there. When we see the revenue generation from this intellectual property alone, we can see Kolkata, because head office of industrial design for industrial design is Kolkata. So there are 4 offices where you can file your industrial design registration, like Mumbai, then Delhi, Chennai, and Kolkata. The examination happens in Kolkata office, and we can see that it is almost like 9 crore plus, like the revenue is generated only from industrial designs. This is the site where if you want to go through the records which are there, which are like registered designs, you can just go through the website of IP India and you can just look into the various designs which are registered there on this. The key features, what are the key features of design? We can say that it is a relatively inexpensive form of IP, definitely. It is a very easy form. Just now, sir has shared that, okay, 6 views. We have to just take photographs or that particular, on dress paper, you can have that particular design. And then along with that, some documentation is there, some details we have to give. So it is so easy. No drafting, nothing is like that. Like in patent, we have a lot of like efforts we have to take for drafting, and then claim drafting is especially a very, we can say, important part when we are talking about patent. But considering this industrial design, it is a very easy to file, and anybody without help of, I just insist that without help of attorney, without help of any expert, IP expert, can do it easily. If you go through the website very nicely, CGPDDM office website, if we go nicely, they have given a checklist and everything is online. Only if you have a digital signature, you can do sitting registration of industrial design very easily if you have a system and a digital that signature. That's it. It's very simple actually. So novelty aspect is very important, that what exactly that novel thing is there. For example, I can just check that the example of cooker, solar cooker had shared, that he has shared that how exactly the novelty aspect is there, along with the patent, industrial design, and how exactly that design, what efforts they have put to bring that particular product into market. That novelty aspect, considering design, will be important when we are doing the industrial design registration. Okay, but we have to remember, I have highlighted that it is a very weak form of IP. Now, why? Because a small tweak in that shape, that easily somebody can do, and they can have a next version, and they can file that industrial design registration for that. And therefore, it is it is very wise, like along with design, patent, trademark, trade secret, okay, all these other IPs we have to take into consideration. So novelty is crucial. It is a statutory right. So you can go into district court, you can go into that court system, and you can have that remedy, considering that if any infringement happens. Okay, so there is no requirement of inventive step, because inventive step is a function of a patent. Okay, so only aesthetic aspect is a very important when we are talking about a design. If we go into the details, statutory details, this is the definition of design. Probably you might be knowing, but I will just focus on features of shape, configuration, pattern, ornament or composition of lines or colors. That is very important. That is the external appearance. And another word which is highlighted is a article. Now this is very, very important. I will share one judgment actually quickly related to Apple and Samsung. So what that article is important, because when industrial design, when we are talking, it should be independable, sellable article. So for example, if I take a car, in that car, that one, like a screw also is an article that we have to remember. That is very important actually, okay? And 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, both forms are like a like you can go for a registration of that. And every time I'm like emphasizing appeal to and are judged solely by eye. That is very, very important. Other things you can go through. Okay. So what is to be established when we are talking about examination, when we're talking about any infringement case? Novel feature is very important. Visible to eye is very important. And article, independent article is very, very important. Considering the time limit, I will just skip quickly. And considering the good form of protection, we can say that customer base is very important. You have to think about customer always when we are designing that particular product. Okay. Now, when we are talking about design, it should not include what it should not include. It should not include mode or principle of construction, because that is a function of patent, which is a mere mechanical design. That is not kind of acceptable. Purely functional features, again, it is a work of patent. And the trademark, like sunrise, the name which is given, it is a trademark. So that will not come into the design protection. Okay, what we have to remember, that if you want to renew that 10th year, you have to remember that I have to renew it. Otherwise, it will go into the public domain. Okay. Now, just see this Apple and Samsung and the judgment. You can just read that. What point I want to emphasize here is like that. This fight between Apple and Samsung was very well known. They were fighting for that. There were almost 50 plus cases. They were fighting for $1 billion actually, considering design and obviously other aspects of IPs were there. We have to remember that this fight, if you go into the US, there is a design patent and there is no industrial design registration. So that fight is over the design patent infringement actually. Okay, and here important part is that article of manufacture, and it is very good clarified that, okay, you are buying mobile, but the components which are present in the mobile that are important, like independently sellable, maybe consumer is not buying that separately, but that is buying with that whole as a mobile. But we have to take into consideration each and every aspect of that article and the features when we are talking about the industrial design registration. Okay, because their fight was related to like that internals, that components, and that internal components are independently sellable. So that is a matter which is like as per definition, article is coming into the picture. And obviously they can, that court have given the ruling that yes, the article which are there inside that product, like maybe it may be a car, it may be a laptop, it may be a mobile, that is also have that industrial design protection. Okay, and if you can see that series of patent infringement suits were there, and that were like related to smartphones, like a phone war was there actually, and it is still there. Telecommunication industry, you go, phone war is still there, and I have just highlighted the companies. Lot of cases are going on related to industrial design protection actually. And if you see particularly Apple and Samsung, I have just mentioned that their cases, if you see the ruling, Apple won ruling in USA and Samsung won ruling in South Korea, Japan, and United Kingdom. And you can just see iPhone 3GS and then the i9000 Galaxy is they have that many kind of cases going. Now it's very interesting case. I will just quickly share here. Can you just gauge who are they? I'll take more, just 5 minutes, and I will try to wind up. Can you just gauge who are they? You can just write down in the chat box if possible. Let me see if I can check the chat box. Here, if you see, I just give you hint. Everybody know this, right? Barbie doll. And here is the story. You can just see Barbie born, we can say, in 1959, and you can see the evolution till 2015 here. Now, if you see, Barbie is almost 65-year-old. Okay, but she is not aging, right? So when we are talking about Barbie, it is a very classic example of a IP management. Now, you just see here, the picture which I have shown, it is of Ruth Handler and Elliot. that is it is a discovery, or it is, we can say, the invention. When they were he was with a daughter and playing with the dolls. At that time, Ruth has created that particular doll, and you can just see the modifications. And Metal Toys, it is a very big company. Every time I am going to do the search report for industrial design, Metal Toys always come. Actually, they have a lot of products which are protected using industrial design as a IP. And this Metal Toys, you can see how strategically they have marketed this particular Barbie. You can see that they have extended Barbies, that doll with the family and friends. So you can just see Barbie have a sisters, Barbie have friends, Barbie have a boyfriend, and Barbie have her own house. And you can just see here in California, human scale dream house is created for a Barbie, and how they are doing the marketing of that one industrial design protection. Then they have another different types of IPs, effective brand building, effective marketing, and a successful, we can say, case of IP management. Here is a car of Barbie. You can just check. And yes, what they have announced that in 2023, that Barbie owner Mattel plans 45 more toy movies as IP and nostalgia trend continues. So see how effectively they are using. This is a very classic case of marketing or building the brand and IP effectively. Okay, so you can just see that Barbie gets at least 100 new clothings every year. And therefore, because of this, Mattel become the biggest garment manufacturer in the world. I have just told you that Barbie is having many other relationships, and she represents nearly 100 different nationalities. There are first, we can say, ponytail Barbie, it was sold in for $3, and you can just see Barbie cost now maybe up to $30,000. What an effective brand building, actually. And the path was not easy. Barbie has gone through a lot of legal cases related to industrial design also, and other types of IPs also. They have faced big backlash in Saudi Arabia and that kind of countries because of that look which they have presented, or they have brought the Barbie into the market with a different outlook, and that is a very interesting case, actually. So path was not easy, but we can see here the effective brand building and the effective use of industrial design. I will just keep these examples, and I would like to come to the that is a strategic part, considering the IP management when we are talking about industrial design. I will skip this case law also, but what we have to focus on when we are talking about this industrial design with we have to think about other IPs and IP strategy. This is very important when we are talking about design commercialization. Generating idea, a lot of ideas are created. Even the inaugural session yesterday, it is shared by Dr. Jere that see that there is a whole lot of idea bank is created through various hackathons, actually. So we are rich now with the ideas, right? Now, how we are going to reduce these ideas into the tangible form, right? That is very important. So probably we have to now think about how we are going further, from that idea to the market. That is very, very important, actually. Effective IP strategy, Barbie case is a very, very important, how effectively they have used IP strategy. Technology transfer is again very, very important. Sir has just now shared that, yes, if MSME is there, 50,000 is good enough, because probably their capacity is that much only. But I say that MSMEs are very promising. They are doing that particular task for many years. And probably if you have a non-exclusive licensing, probably that is a very good way to expand the market. Because when we gave it to 1,000 MSMEs, probably that will be you can just imagine if you give 1,000 MSMEs with a 50,000, good revenue generation is there. And that is a very good strategy actually, because observation is like this. If we go into the big player, probably we may not stand in the negotiation. That is my experience actually with the patent also, with the industrial design also. We are like a very small fish, we can say, in the, and the big players are a big fish, and in this market, probably we may not stand, we may not negotiate effectively, but probably MSMEs is a very good example where we can negotiate and we can have a non-exclusive licensing. Probably that is a very good way of licensing or selling of the product. Design commercialization, when we are talking, product development and business growth. Product development, other types of IPs will come. Business growth, marketing aspect we have to take into consideration. And key stakeholders, as we have just seen, that designers, marketers, manufacturers, creators, okay, all these engineers obviously will be there. So if we see the stages of that commercialization, obviously idea generation is there, designing and prototyping, and it goes into the various stages. Market research and validation is there. Then manufacturing and sourcing is there. Sales is there, and post-launch evaluation is there. Lastly, a few questions we should ponder on. Whether single IP design will be sufficient? Only one type of IP is sufficient? I will say no, definitely not. You just think about it. Whether other important factors along with IP are important? Yes, definitely. We have to think about other factors. We cannot just say, oh, I have my design registration, I have received that design registration, and now there will be a queue for asking the that my IP, and there will be queues, people will come. That will never happen. We have to take efforts. We have to think about other IPs. We have to think about obviously the marketing of the lot of efforts are required. Whether Indian toys can grow like metal, like Barbie case, just we have to think. I will just share the example, the few examples here. And whether India origin articles can be strategically used, business development around specific geographical indicators. Here is an example. Now you just see the Channapatna toys and dolls, or Kondapalli Bombalu. These are we have registered GI on it. Whether we have a successful in marketing of that. Just think about, like a metal, Barbie cases like that. Barbie have a sisters, a family, and then the aligned products are there. Can we think about such kind of a thing around this particular toys? Because this is like our GI registered. We can have industrial design registration also with some modifications. Obviously, novelty feature and all this thing we have to take into consideration. Just think about it. We have to think about a trademark around that, whether that is possible. Whether other products, aligned products are possible to develop this particularly like a Barbie. These are our GI registered products. The articles are there, very specific to India. Can we think about something that jewelry designs are there, or this mirrors are there, some articles that Bidri wear is there? Can we think about the other types of IPs, and we can build a portfolio, bundle of rights, and then can we do the marketing of that effectively? Here are some few more products are there. So the point is like that, we have to think about this particular questions so that we are creating, but along with these questions, that along with the creation, whether we have taken efforts for the commercialization. And Barbie case, I always feel, is a very good example for a life sustainability, we can say. That development is there, and they are leader in that particular domain, we can say. So I just conclude here, and maybe you can just think about the question which I have posed, that I have given you that map, India map I have shared with you. I would like you to just think about whether industrial designs are possible with this. Okay. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that. Let me know.
Thank you so much, Gauri ma'am, for driving us through a range of interesting case studies related to the design. Really, it was insightful, and it helped us to understand the relevance of design protection. So we will now open the floor for questions. So in the chat box, we have one query, ma'am.
Yeah.
So Shyam Sundar is asking, is there any difference in industrial designs policy for registrations between India and other countries like Germany, USA, and so on?
Okay. When we are talking about India as a jurisdiction, we have 8 types of IPs. We have to remember that in other jurisdictions, such 8 types may not be there. For example, when I take USA as an example, I just now told you that USA have a design patent. They don't have separate industrial design act. They have a plant patent. We don't have we have a separate protection of plant varieties and farmers' right act. So jurisdiction wise, there is a different situation is there. For example, if I want to share, whenever I was doing the consultancy in Mumbai, my client was there and he brought a jewelry. Actually, jewelry design is coming under industrial design. And what was that product actually? So in SIBS Andheri, there was a factory and a diamond, actually diamond market is there in BKC. There is a diamond market in Mumbai and the factory was in Andheri SIBS. And what was the product? So whenever they are creating a jewelry, a real diamond, there were cuts, right? Cuts in the side, diamond will be cut and there is a vestige. Vestige is of a diamond, right? Now what they have done effectively, this manufacturer, they have taken that diamond waste, they have created a framework in such a way that they have put the diamond into that frame. Now, as a customer, when I look into that particular diamond, it will look like a big diamond. What they have done, they have to use pieces and they have created a big diamond out of that actually. So, and you know that diamond price is dependent on that. One of the aspect is the size of that particular diamond. So it will look like it is a whole soul one diamond, but actually it was a cut pieces and he has put together and then he has created several designs out of that. And he came to us like I have to do the registration of that. So what we have done, we have done the registration, design registration in India. And then we have just asked him where exactly he want to do the registration further. So in other 5 countries we have done, in USA we have done the design patent for that. Okay. And they are so competitive actually that he said that my competitor is doing this design of jewelry design. I also want to go. So awareness is there and they are doing that particular registrations very effectively and obviously they are very successful. So when I have done, my observation is that these MSMEs, this is an MSME only, considering patent, considering industrial design, they have done a very good, we can say the marketing in other countries, like their market is in a developed world actually, in USA or Europe, they are effectively doing marketing. So that is the observation. We may not be aware about, but when we go into the actually reality, I have observed, and this fellow, he was like not able to understand English, no idea about that language is not a barrier for him. Whenever I am giving him the details in that drafting related to this, he used to kind of go through Google Translate, go through Gujarati, and then he goes to me. So there is no language as a barrier. When I see my patent clients and all that, they are like literally illiterate, but they are doing a very good business actually. So when we are talking about intellectual property, it is like I can say for creators, this IP is a very good tool to a competitive, we can say, a tool to stand into the market. I guess I'm able to answer.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. It was an exceptional session, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Now, ma'am, we have yet another hands raised from Dr. Manoj Kumar. So please ask your questions.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Ma'am, I would like to know about the what are the various agencies which are doing ranking on behalf of filing the patent and design?
Ranking?
Which is doing somewhat ranking, which institution is filing more design and what sort of design categorization are there? On IPR website, I have seen that they are publishing a yearly annual book.
Right.
So are there any agencies which are performing any sort of this? Suppose I have come to know about Fortune somewhat. They do some sort of ranking.
I can just say that, see, for CGPDTM office is doing ranking. Obviously, the objective is to promotion, to give a recognition for their work, and it is a very routine for many years. It is going on, and that ranking is there. Obviously, you have just mentioned that. Yeah, sir. Please.
What's the name?
Sorry.
What is the name, ma'am?
This our CGPDTM office, like control of patent designs and industry, trademark registry office, which is there in Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, and Calcutta, right? And for trademark, it is in Ahmedabad. So we this office is doing ranking that they are felicitating actually. The different categories are there actually. You can just go through on the annual report. You can just see the category like individuals are there, then there is like companies are there, research labs are there, academic institutes are there. So they have different categories, and under different categories, they are like doing, they are observing, and they have their own data because obviously registration is often happening with their office only. So based on the number, they are doing the ranking and they are felicitating that creators. Okay, so this ranking is based on number actually. Now other ranking is not there as such, but I can say that innovation index, when we are talking about NIRF ranking, when we are talking other like Times, QS ranking and all, they are giving importance to intellectual property. That whether you have applied, whether it is granted, whether it is registered, that terminology changes. When we say trademark, we say registered. When we say patent, it is granted. The terminologies are changing, but there that importance is definitely there, and marks are there. And based on that marks, our academic institute, wherever we are associated, we have been ranked. So considering that also, it is having we can say the importance. Even I can say that in few days, Ministry of Innovation also may start such kind of a ranking for, because they are already running hackathons, already running the toycathon. So maybe in few years, probably they have they can have some ranking so that they can push, we can say, the competitive environment in India, so that IP will be created more and more and will be benefited. Because just now I have shared with you the Barbie case, like this matter is like a continuously 65 years they are like working on it, and they are number one. Our I can just bring Darjeeling tea example. Tea board is doing fantastic job there. Similarly, I have just given you the geographical indication that that toys are there, there are some articles are there, handicrafts are there. So we have to just come up with such kind of a case where our Darjeeling tea is there, or this Barbie case is there. These are very classic, we can say, examples. If we can think about this and we can apply that, probably we can have a successful, we can say, marketing and revenue generation out of intellectual property. And our motive, our main objective of IP, probably we can fulfill very effectively with this. I hope I have able to answer that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, we have few queries from the YouTube comments also.
Yes.
So Shashwat is asking, what is the difference across the design protection where competitor may take a product to market?
Say again.
What is the difference across the design protection where competitor may take a product to market?
Difference with what exactly he has not mentioned, I guess, right? But I guess he want to talk about like a lab too. I just guessed, if I correctly understood, you just check out, or you can put into the chat box or there the question. What I understand is like that product design and industrial design, these are totally different fields actually. We should not mix it together. Product design is a function of, if I relate it with the intellectual property, product design is a part of, patent will be very important in that. When I say in this industrial design registration, or if I'm going in another jurisdiction, design patent is very important there. And what happens when we are learning in the college, actually, what happens, maybe we are engineer, maybe we are like science students. So whatever stream we are like, we look into the product into two aspects. If I take into this simple example of a mobile also as a product, The function of mobile is like, yes, I want to communicate, right? That is a major function. Now smartphones are come with all other like features, and we are using it effectively for so many things, right? That we can have this thing and we can move around the world with only this. This is giving you everything actually. That is a smartphone, we can say nowadays is. Now, the point if I want to emphasize on product design and industrial design, product design function is like whether the communication is proper, the speed is proper, the internet is working properly, whether I am able to hear things properly, whether like other functions which are given, like location tracking or other things, whether all these functions are working properly. There all will come, like a patent will come, somewhere semiconductor industrial design, circuitry design, protection will come. So that is a product design part is there. When I say industrial design, obviously this product is there, but how effectively a customer should get attracted towards that. So industrial designer will come into the picture, design graduates. So they will come into the picture and they will look into it so effectively that yes, if I put this mobile on the shelf, out of 100 products, my product should get attracted. The customer should get attracted towards my product is effort of the designer of that particular company, and every company is trying that particular thing. Trying to give, for example, this round design, like simple this round curve, for that Apple and Samsung fought a case. That yes, that curvature part is there here. So for that there is a fight. So you can imagine the fight which is going on, or how like particular these big giants are there about their designs, about their IP actually. So product design and industrial design, one is like function, one is only aesthetic look. So industrial design only look, only aesthetic look. And other features when we are talking product, like functional features we are talking, that will have another types of IPs like a patent or maybe some semiconductor integrated circuit layout design or something like that. I hope I am able to answer your query.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for answering the query. And one more question from the YouTube participant. Ashish Singh is asking how a chemical testing kit will be registered as a design or a process patent.
Okay. Chemical testing is maybe a diagnostic tool or something like that, or maybe the product as some testing is going on. Okay. If this is so, what I will say that it is a very good like a product for two things. I always go with the all IPs. I will say that you name it properly, a very catchy name, and you will have a trademark registration for that. Okay, just like in COVID wrap is there and other things are there, or like that clean take and all these words are used. No? So you can have trademark registration. This is a tool which is helping you the detection. Yes, it is a very good for if that trinity of patent is followed, that is novelty, non-obviousness, and industrial applicability, and section 3, section 4 is taken into consideration. It will go for patent registration, but please don't go with only process. Product is very important, but generally a product patenting is a very strong patenting. Process patenting is comparatively weak, so you can have a process product patenting. So patenting will be there, and you can have a very nice look of that particular gadget. You can have that tool, that whatever you have created, create it very nicely. You have seen that testing that during COVID, lot of like testing kits came, or you can have a diagnostic tools for blood testing and BP testing. A lot of these tools are there. Similarly, you can just think about like nice look and feel for your product, various different colors according to different genders. Maybe if directly consumer is using that particular tool, and that will help you to capture consumers, different consumers into the market. Okay, so in short, I can just tell you that trademark, industrial design, patent, not process patent only, product process patent will be more effective, and that will help you to the capture the, we can say, the market. I hope I am able to answer.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. Ma'am, two more last queries, because we have a lot many questions, but I will take two more queries from the chat box. So one is, if someone has copied and doing my business doing a business, copying, if someone copied and doing business, my design, which has been already been patented, what is the role of IP office control this copying?
Okay, you have mixed so many things.
Yes.
So you have talked about a business, you have talked about industrial design, you have talked about a patent also. We have to just remember, these 8 different types are totally different, independent of each other. But one product can have all different types of IPs, right? I have given you mithai. I just want to know whether industrial design will be there. If you can just write down what if industrial design registration is possible for that. I just want to know, because whenever product comes in front of you, like you are talking about your product is there, now how I should protect it, and I guess you are talking about the how CGPDDM office is helping you. So answer to this is like that, you are talking about a business. Now business method patenting is not available in India. Our section 3 is not allowing that. So where you will get that protection? If your product is registered in US, definitely there is a business method patent. So there you can definitely explore your right over a business method, one thing. Then you are talking about your patented thing. If patent is there for that particular product, definitely CGPDDM office is helping you. 2 things are there at different stages. You are getting help from the office. First thing, section 25 of patent is talking about the oppositions. So if you come to know about the infringement of your product before grant of a patent, you can have a pre-grant opposition. If you come to know about the opposition after grant of a patent, then you can have a post-grant opposition within 1 year after the grant. So that options are there. So CGPDDM office, immediately you can communicate. If it is a pre-grant opposition, during the examination of that particular patent, examiner will take into consideration this section 20 under section 25 that the pre-grant opposition is there. And obviously that particular product will not go for the, that will not be, if it goes in your favor, it will not get patented, obviously. There are reasons you have to do. There is a format, how you have to file the opposition. That is clearly mentioned in section 25. We can just follow that. And office is very cooperative, and I have done that oppositions. And obviously that products have not got registered. Okay, so that is one thing. Now, Form 7 is there for that, for pre-grant opposition. If you go for post-grant opposition, yes, again, office is helping you. And this is a very easy way for the stopping the infringement, because quickly the office will take action on that, and you will kind of get remedy within 1 year. You will get remedy for that particular infringement. So definitely CGPDDM office is helping you in that. Now, considering industrial design, how exactly CGPDDM office is working? You can just communicate with the CGPDDM office regarding that infringement of your design, and proceedings are there. You can file the opposition, and during that, if you file the opposition during the examination, the examiner will take into consideration that opposition. Both parties will be heard. There will be hearing, and based on that discussion, examiner will take a call whether that design will be registered or not. So that particular thing is there. And even after registration, if you communicate about the infringement of the product, CGPDDM office may help you that yes, they will cancel the registration of that particular design, because they are publishing it into the Gazette. And if we have to keep an eye on the Gazette, if you file that complaint, if you give that application, definitely that will be taken care. So I will suggest that if you are alert about your product, please keep an eye on the Gazette, keep an eye on CGPDDM office website, so that you will get remedy immediately. If you go into the court is the next, because after 1 year considering patent, you have to go into the court. District court is the lowest court where you can file the case considering the IP. And there, you know the court system, how it works, and it is very challenging. So better you seek your that remedy when it is in the CGPDDM office only. And definitely they are helping. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Due to lack of time, I'm just winding up with last question.
Okay.
Dr. Shahir Patel is asking, on what basis approval of design registration depends? Some approval takes more than 6 months, whereas some are approved within 1.5 months.
Yeah. So the point is like that. Wherever you are filing the design, any of the offices, 4 offices are there. All will go into the Kolkata office. So your examination will happen in Kolkata office only, industrial design examination. Now, the procedural part, if you see of industrial design registration, obviously there is a queue. There is a long queue of, but comparatively patent, obviously for design, that queue is a very, we can say comparatively it is less. But so as per queue, that examination will happen. Immediately after examination, they will communicate with you. Now they are giving you time to answer, right? Now in that stipulated answer, if you quickly answer, okay, what will happen? Your filing will be, it is in your hand, in how much time you are going to answer. They give you sufficient time, like, but if you answer it immediately, probably that time will be reduced. Again, what happens if sometimes if misfortune is there, opposition may come. So if opposition proceedings go, then that takes little time. Okay. And sometimes the complexity of that particular product is again important. Then they are going through global database. They are going through our IP India database for that examination. That is a source actually that to check the novelty aspect. And that depending on the complexity, depending on any unfortunate event like oppositions and all that thing, and then your time of giving the answers, means your reply to the office about their queries whenever they're asking queries. I guess these 3 factors are very important. And then the queue which is there. So in India, only Kolkata office is taking care. So that queue is like that. Considering that queue. So I can say that these 4 factors are there which are determining that how long that will take. But I will say that it is pretty well like they are doing it comparatively. I guess they are giving you the whenever you are communicating immediately, whenever that queue is there, accordingly they are taking it. So 6 months to 1.5 years, definitely that time is there. But these 4 factors are important. So you please check which is the factor which is especially if you are dealing with your application status window is there. You can just put your application, you can check where exactly it is now, and you can take a decision how you can move it fast actually. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable time and insightful session on design registration. Now, as we come to the end of the session, I would like to formally invite Dr. Ellen Cowan, sir, Assistant Innovation Director of MIC. So over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Professor Gauri ma'am and Professor Chakravarti sir for big insight on discover more with the design registration and focusing on the aspects of design thinking registration and what's the difference of difference between design and industrial designs, as well as how the examination process has been carried out. With your rich experience, you are with the IIT Kharagpur background and your past support for us in the Swayam course on intellectual property and IP, and continuous support for developing the content for school innovation. Thank you, Gauri ma'am, for your continuous support for past few years for Ministry of Education's innovation in developing the content, and the same support you have extended. Today we have more than 3,000 participants who have been watching it on the YouTube and WebEx and the different platforms. So your rich experience and your knowledge on this would be very much useful to our participants, and they will also follow and get back to you when some support required. You can also individually address them on the need basis. They can write to you, and when the time permits, you can also address to their institutes in depth as a separate program of this.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again for accepting the invitation to be part of this program. I also thank the previous speaker, Professor Chakravarti sir from IIT Bombay, for his rich experience in the design thinking for more than 3 decades in this domain. His knowledge sharing with us, it was a great support, sir, and it was very informative. On behalf of AICT, Ministry of Education Innovation, sir, I thank Professor Chakravarti, sir, and Professor Gauri, ma'am, for their continuous support for this kind of initiatives. And also I thank Ms. Shruti and Ms. Damini for following up and coordinating with the experts and with the participants for conducting this program successfully. I also thank all the participants who have been participated, sparing your time. This 1.5 hours into 3,000 participants. We have more than 30,000 hours of time today spent on this session. I'm very sure it should be converted. Many more design registration should happen, and it should have a big impact, and it would be useful for promoting the innovation culture and design culture in our country. And I thank all the participants for sparing your time and participating in this unit, in this program. Looking forward for your continuous participation in next 4 days. Still Saturday, we have a session on the different aspects of IP and design. Looking forward for your continuous participation. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining this program. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your conclusion, and you have been so much supportive for organizing this IP Utsav 2025. Thank you for your time. And now I request all the participants to please have a look through the assessment link. Post each of the masterclass, we will be sharing an e-assessment link, which my colleague Damini has already shared in the chat box. Kindly take your time to just evaluate yourself that how much fruitful and effective this session was, and how much it helped to gain more knowledge on IP. And for the YouTube participants, I also request them to join through this MIC link. The e-assessment link will be accessible. And also, kindly note that those participants who have completed the assessment for the all 4 days will be issued with a certificate on behalf of MIC and AICT. So thank you so much all for all your participation and your valuable time. Thank you. Thank you so much.